Rent to own is a little bit different than lease option in that on a rent to own, you're renting the property until you own it, so you can take a portion of those payments and apply it towards the purchase price. So typically in a rent to own, as opposed to a lease option, you do apply a portion of those payments to the end purchase price. So you are renting to own this house for $200,000. Every payment you make, $500 a month of that payment goes toward the purchase on the back end. So that's the main difference between a rent to own and a lease option. Lease, generally the payments aren't going to apply towards the purchase price. It's just an agreed upon price in advance. Rent to own is different, where a portion of those payments go towards the back end and pay that down. So that's a great strategy to use. Some people do subject to owner finance and a lease option or rent to own on the back end to that end buyer, and they get a 3 payday system. So you get an option fee up front from that buyer, you get a deposit, non-refundable for a rent to own buyer. Then you get cash flow spread between what you're paying the previous seller that sold to you and what the buyer is paying to you. So you keep that spread in the middle, and then you have a payment in the back end that is usually more than what you're paying for the property. And there's a little bit of principal pay down in there sometimes as well on that rent to own. So it can be a great strategy, and it's a good creative strategy for a lot of people to use, but in some states you can't do it, so you need to make sure you understand the rules and the laws. I think there's some issues with that rent to own process in Texas, but other than that, I think as long as you check with a real estate attorney or a title company, it's a great strategy to use.